Terence Crawford has supposedly acknowledged Conor McGregor's battle offer. Crawford has the choice to contend in an enormous hybrid battle against McGregor, undefeated at 44 division boxing champion Terence Crawford presently rules as the WBA and WBO super welterweight champion. Shockingly, previous UFC lightweight boss Conor McGregor nearly became one of his rivals, as Crawford uncovered past conversations about an expected session with the Irish MMA symbol. There were ongoing emergency rooms of a two-battle game plan, with McGregor one in the confining ring and one more, the Octagon. While Crawford affirmed he'd had direct discussions with McGregor to make it happen, he at last decided to pass on the open door. In spite of the fact that Crawford didn't determine the planning of these conversations, he shared his explanations behind avoiding MMA rivalry. "I told Conor to himself, I said, damnation. No, they called me, they offered me the battle. Me and Conor got on the telephone. We began politicking. Attempting to sort something out," Crawford told Bernie the Fighter on a YouTube live transfer. He further added, "I just let him. No, man, I'm not getting in that frame of mind with you, so you can be kicking me and elbowing me." Thus, he gets to chuckling. He resembles, "Man, I regard that, since you regard my game very much like I regard your game, and you figure out that assuming you get in the octagon with me, you will be in a difficult situation, very much like assuming I get in the boxing ring with you. I will be in a difficult situation," despite the fact that the infamous McGregor comprehended the actual explanations behind turning down the battle. Crawford said the Irishman attempted to speak to his ledger. "He resembled, yet will make a lot of cash," Crawford said, giggling. Reviewing what McGregor added, "I said, no doubt in some cases it ain't about the cash, I can bring in cash, yet you ain't going to kick me. Fella, them kicks and elbows, that ain't serious stuff." Crawford is flourishing monetarily in the boxing scene. A hybrid session with McGregor might have been a monstrous currency producer. Had all sides concurred, McGregor's 2017 fight with Floyd Mayweather demonstrated the way that productive such occasions can be. Nevertheless, Crawford likes to harden his enclosing inheritance, as opposed to draw in a solitary confrontation. Crawford is new off a victorious win over Israel Lady of in August, with his sights set on a standoff with Canelo Alvarez. Anyway, talk still can't seem to pick up speed as things stand. Crawford's next logical adversary could be Sebastian Fonder, a matchup that would place him in line to guarantee 3 of the 4 titles in the 154B division. Conor McGregor last ventured into the octagon in July 2021 at UFC 264, where a first-round technical knockout misfortune to Dustin Poirier finished in a staggering leg break. However, he later trained against Michael Chandler. On a definitive, Warrior communicated his longing for a rebound. There's still no obvious indicator of when, or then again, assuming that he'll get back to rivalry. Double pieces caused disturbances in the media subsequent to fixing an association with Conor McGregor following his live streaming presentation on May 20th. The UFC's most memorable synchronous two-division champion brought his star influence to the crypto-driven stage in one more transmission, while spellbinding crowds with his moxie. McGregor additionally let slip a few fascinating subtleties. Watchers before long found that the symbol had been haggling with boxing sensation Terence Crawford, indicating a huge cooperation underway. Conor McGregor, renowned line known as the famous, is no more unusual to the boxing. His blockbuster session with Floyd Mayweather Jr. remaining parts one of the greatest netting matches in the game's history. Hypothesis about his revisitation of the ring has waited from that point forward. However, nothing concrete has emerged. Up to this point, a new improvement has ignited new interest, as McGregor was spotted with boxing's initial two-division undisputed hero at Wembley Arena during the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois battle. Their photographs immediately became famous. Online energizing interest and buzz across the boxing local area, said the famous. "I was at the Wembley battles with Crawford while examining the exceptionally expected conflict between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford." The Irishman couldn't quit commending Crawford's boxing abilities, yet appeared to be less dazzled with Alvarez. He additionally featured Bud's gifts past the ring, explicitly his abilities to wrestle, said the famous. "You realize they're continuously conversing with me about sessions. I've proactively boxed a fighter. MMA is me." He professes to be the top fighter in the blended combative techniques world, equipped for conveying punches with squashing influence. He said, "So I conversed with Crawford to and fro. It resembles a two-battle bargain." Reviewing the entire discussion with Terence Crawford, McGregor added, "Crawford, they're here discussing you and me battling two-battle bargain. MMA first, boxing second. I realize you have a broad wrestling foundation and balls the size of a Bengal tiger. They're requesting a battle. It will be many Millions on the line. What's up? The previous UFC featherweight and lightweight hero noticed that Terence Crawford didn't appear to be particularly energetic about the thought he goes. I don't fancy taking an opening shot, Conor McGregor. That is what he said. You need to regard that, McGregor. Said Conor McGregor recently offered his viewpoints about the impending Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur BBV match like others. He accepted this would be a special circumstance, including two of the business's top gifts. During the discussion, the previous UFC champion drifted away from the fundamental subject and shared bits of knowledge about his new interest in the exposed knuckle battling title. He said, it's an alternate world without the gloves. Yet, he immediately recuperated, bringing up that the ball better be battle will be a breaking one. He liberally credited the progress of these phenomenal occasions to His Excellency. Turkey Alec, the head of Riyadh season, still a matchup among McGregor and Crawford would have been completely marvelous. Consistently, features of Bud exhibiting his great hooking abilities certainly stand out, yet will that be sufficient to persevere through the steady attack inside the octagon comparatively while McGregor has his reasonable part of involvement in gloves? Might he at any point genuinely endure the surge from a pound-for-pound tip-top fighter over 3 years, eliminated from his last session? Conor McGregor stays zeroed in on his a whole lot expected UFC rebound, while his enthusiasm for boxing hasn't waned. Regardless of being attached to a UFC contract, the infamous continues working up energy, indicating potential blockbuster conflicts across the universe of battle sports. During a new live stream with his games wagering accomplice Double Pieces, Conor McGregor answered a fan's inquiry concerning boxing, uncovering that advertisers are continually contacting him about potential matchups. McGregor, declaring himself as the game's greatest fascination, shared that he had been in conversations for a two-battle hybrid occasion with Terence Crawford. The proposition held back nothing in confining and another except for, as per McGregor, Crawford turned down the deal. Bits of gossip about a potential hybrid session with a pound-for-pound top fighter didn't ignite the excitement McGregor probably expected. As opposed to creating publicity, the 36-year-old warrior confronted reaction, with many fans blaming him for either manufacturing the case or giving one more follow. Guarantee. One fan facetiously blamed McGregor for being on coke, remarking he's coked to his gills. Others remarked, Conor doesn't fancy a punch from Terence, he's so loaded with it, all he does is discussion. Presently, should Conor McGregor advance once more into the boxing ring, it would check just his second session in the game, notwithstanding holding simply a no-1 record in proficient boxing. The famous was at the focal point of quite possibly of the most stupendous display in battle sports history. During his Seoul battle in 2017, McGregor convinced the UFC to take part in an uncommon co-advancement for his high-profile session against Floyd Mayweather Jr. in Las Vegas. The occasion drew around $4 million compensation for every view purchases, establishing its status as perhaps of the most rewarding in sport history. McGregor might have lost the battle by a 10th-round technical knockout, yet his persevering through star power keeps him an attractive power in the game. As part proprietor of the BKFC, the Irishman's name regularly surfaces in conversations about the advancement, adding to his irrefutable impact. Then again, Chris Eubank Jr. has his eyes on a potential enormous hybrid boxing conflict with Conor McGregor. Eubank Jr., perhaps of the most unmistakable figure in English boxing, is ready to get back from an extended break with a profoundly expected session against Kamil Kometa on October 12. As of late, he has been in conversations with a setup of hotshot names investigating the chance of blockbuster battles incorporating matchups with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He has now made the frightening disclosure that an expected standoff with UFC genius McGregor could be not too far off. Eubank Jr. uncovered that conversations started after he and his future rival ran into each other and got together to celebrate during their most memorable experience in Dubai. He told Deroni, "This was an insane night out in Dubai. Conor was exceptionally tanked, and we lived it up. You realize there's really been discusses me and him truly having a bout. Eventually, the fans have said that they need to see that, how fascinating that would be. That is certainly something that I'm available to investigating. We should say that a matchup between Eubank Jr. and McGregor would without a doubt catch consideration. However, next gen in would almost certainly be the mind-boggling number one to guarantee triumph. This matchup stands apart as one of the more conceivable crossovers, particularly since McGregor has considered getting back in the saddle to the UFC at 170 pounds, a weight that is surely accessible for the English warrior. McGregor has wandered into the boxing ring before, where he went head-to-head against Floyd Mayweather in 2017.